history, language, culture, mentality. Experts, activists, and concerned citizens' opinions on what it means to be a Belarusian. Identity.
Welcome back. Arseny Anderson is at the mic for you. Inbound tourism today is one of the industries that are developing rapidly in Belarus. According to Belstat, the number of organized tourists increased by 82,000 in 2017 and 18. Theme tours and industrial tourism are actively developing. Today our guest is Alexey Strelchenko, the head of Belintourist, the Minsk branch of a tourist organization Kurort Center. He spoke about the work of the Belarusian tourism infrastructure and the most popular routes.
Identity.
Исходя из опыта, куда белорусы ездят чаще всего отдыхать?
Based on experience, where do Belarusians most often travel? What are their preferences and which routes are the least popular?
Выездного рынка белорусского, экскурсионного, пляжного.
Observing the formation of the Belarusian outbound market from the beginning of the 1990s to the present day, it can be stated that the directions and preferences haven't changed much over the past decades. Let's see the charter flights program from Minsk. It starts in April with Turkish flights and ends in late October, again with Turkish flights. Turkey remains at the top. The reasons are obvious. The Turkish coast is quite large. It offers a wide selection of climatic, natural, beach conditions. Aegean coast is very different from the Mediterranean. Bodrum is very different from Alanya. Turkey, as a pioneer that opened the all-included system, still offers the optimal choices for a family vacation. It's when the entire service is included in the so-called club vacation, when everything is nearby. Belarusians, in my opinion, are not quite the nation that leaves a lot outside the package during the holidays. Perhaps informative and sightseeing vacations, but there's not as much spending on parties and shopping as, for example, our neighbors from Russia. This is due to financial opportunities. Therefore, the top countries where Belarusians travel have not changed much: Turkey, Egypt, Bulgaria, Spain, and Cyprus. From time to time, different countries come and go. For example, Tunisia, which first got closed and a few years ago got opened again. We cannot say that this is a very popular destination, though there are very attractive low prices. As for new directions, there are some very successful debuts. These include Albania, which appeared on charter flights 3 or 4 years ago. As far as I can tell, companies have no problems with closing seats during charter programs. The choice is always dictated by price. But there is a minus. The infrastructure is poor. There is a small selection of services in the country. Other advantages are the sea and a great climate. Adriatic and Ionian seas, which are strikingly different from the Black and the Mediterranean. Beautiful nature, hospitality of Albanians, as well as cheap prices. If we talk about the losses of directions that are important for Belarusians, we need to mention the Crimea. After Crimea became Russian, mass tourism from Belarus ceased. Back in the early 2000s, statistics showed that the majority of border crossings during the holiday seasons were in Ukraine. Destinations included Crimea, the Sea of Azov, and Odessa. This was the most popular tourism for Belarusians because it was the most affordable, in most cases not requiring contacting travel companies. There was an easy delivery way, visa-free travel with Ukraine. Operator work has been developed in all areas. Money movements were also quite primitive, so all areas worked actively. After the direct road to the Crimea was cut off, traffic decreased. It's expensive to fly by plane and there are no direct flights. The bus is too far. And Crimea, having become Russian, has changed. Having received large loads from corporations and trade unions, Crimea changed its pricing policy. As a mass direction, to date is lost for Belarusians. But they continue to travel to Odessa.
Какие в Беларуси самые популярные маршруты?
What are the most popular developed routes for those who want to get acquainted with Belarusian culture? Perhaps there are some theme tours.
Ну, у нас помимо обязательных объектов.
There are mandatory destinations: Mir and Nesvizh castles, Dudutki, the Stalin Line, and the Great Patriotic War Museum. If you'd like to travel far beyond Minsk, there is Belovezhskaya Pushcha. Many like the National Art Gallery. Theme tours are successfully developing. Today you can see all of Belarus in general. These are mostly Russian-speaking groups because our main client is Russia. Neither the Chinese nor the Pakistanis have ordered tours to Polessy. There are such tours. World of Belarusian Towns, which is the northwest of Belarus. Belarusian Mosaic and Zalesy, that's Rodno region. the Catholic culture. Polessy Odyssey is the south of Belarus. There is also industrial tourism. The most famous industrial tour is Belaz. There is a weekly assembly of Belaz in the World of Giants. Foreigners often go there. There was another order during the Europe-USA match. Since MTZ was the general sponsor, the International Athletics Federation, as the organizer of the match, asked for a trip. We were responsible for the program. The tour is called Build Your Tractor. Participants dress up in uniform, ride the tractors, etc. This is interesting because the brand is quite famous. I was at an exhibition in Pakistan in October, and Belarus is very well known there. In Pakistan, there is a Belarus tractor plant. This is just one example. In general, theme tours are very unexpected. Sometimes you just don't know how to approach them. Last year, I had a request. I shot a movie in China. The Chinese from Hong Kong ordered a masterclass on painting Matryoshka dolls. It was difficult because you can't buy unpainted Matryoshkas in shops. At first I was looking for real artists, but their reaction was something like, "I'm a union member, I won't be doing that." Then I thought, after all, there are school classes where professional and semi-professional artists teach. I could ask them. In addition, customers did not want to hold a masterclass in a regular place. As a result, instead of a restaurant or some other rented premises, we used a manor. It's a very picturesque place near the pond. I hired a cinematographer, shot a movie, now it's out in China. But for me, it was a unique experience. Masterclass participants painted Matryoshkas self-forgetfully for an hour and a half. It turned out very beautiful. This is probably some kind of a national thing. It was just a pleasure to watch them. Back to theme tours. Today, Nesvij offers theme quests. In Mir, we often book an animation meeting when people in gentry suits hand out treats, play authentic music. We have national things, we just need more. But when people say that we get nothing, just some post-Soviet stuff, it's plain stupid. This is sheer criticism. I would never want to see in Belarus what happened to me in Kazan last year. My friends and I got lost one evening, so we asked passersby how to get to the hotel. They asked, "Are you not local?" We said, "No, we're from Belarus." And they asked, "What are you doing here?" "We just arrived on a tour to see your city." What is there to watch? My wish is just that not a single guest would hear this in Belarus, because it is not true.
Можете припомнить какой-нибудь случай, когда...
Can you recall a case where the reaction of a foreign tourist to something of the Belarusian culture made you reconsider your own view of this cultural element?
С точки зрения нашей национальной идентичности,
In terms of identity, I can say how the opinion of a foreigner boosted my Belarusian self-esteem. This does not quite apply to the object of culture, but it definitely applies to Belarusians. My story is related to a trip to Tatarstan. We drove along the highway where we saw pictures of varying degrees of neglect. And then we drive by the house in which there was a huge poster, "We'll buy DF," that is, buy diesel fuel. And I just say, "Wow, I saw this last time in Belarus somewhere in the 90s. "What surprises you here?" the guide asked. "Well, what kind of fuel can he buy? Only a stolen one. After all, gas stations are very close, he could just go and buy." And the guide says, "You Belarusians are interesting. I would never think about that." This is the first case that came up to my mind.
А бывает ли какое-то недопонимание у иностранцев в плане языка?
Is there a misunderstanding among foreigners in terms of language? One of my acquaintances before arriving in Belarus began to learn Belarusian without first asking me, and then he was surprised to find that everyone here speaks Russian. Did you have such cases?
это распространенное явление.
Often, this is a common occurrence. It is difficult to say that this surprise is wrong in any way, and although we have official bilingualism and the foreign image of the language should correspond to this bilingualism, in practice this does not happen. We always explain this with historical features that influence the active use of the Russian language in Belarus. At the same time, we're talking about the opportunity to receive education in Belarusian, to watch performances in Belarusian. That is, we cannot say that Belarusian is not developing. Now, there are days of Belarusian writing, although this situation remains problematic for us.
Наконец, последний вопрос.
Finally, the last question. What does it mean for you to be a Belarusian?
Если искренне, то этого простого ответа быть не может.
I thought a lot about this, and there can be no simple answer. Belarus goes through a difficult path to gaining national identity. On the other hand, Belarusians are a young nation. I can say this as a tourism practitioner and from my experience of working with China. It is very difficult sometimes to understand their actions. It is not easy to understand the logic of their relationships, their actions. I am reassured by the thought that this is a nation with a 3,000-year-old history that has a strong national identity. There were attempts to erode it in the process of colonization. The country was subjected to aggression, came under the cultural influence of empires, was economically and politically dependent on them. And now China is the second world economy. Then how can we understand each other when the Belarusian nation was formed at the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries? And the history of the 20th century did not greatly contribute to the formation of our national identity. It was hard to stabilize. In 1987, as a very young man, I was admitted to the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. The collegium gathered and evaluated whether you were worthy to be a party member or not. It was necessary to fill out a questionnaire. Nationality, of course, was Belarusian, just like in the passport, and I chose Russian as my native language, as I don't speak Belarusian. Moreover, as the son of a military man, I had the right to refuse to study the Belarusian language and literature, since the military personnel often moved from republic to republic. I was asked why I wrote Russian. Back then, I couldn't answer. His colleagues started hissing at the guy, saying that he's asking provocative questions and they don't matter at the case. Many years passed. Now, if I had come across such a questionnaire, I would have chosen Belarusian as my native language, even though I don't use it constantly. And this is the trouble of many Belarusians. For each person, this process is painful, long, and difficult. My son loves Belarusian much more than I do. Perhaps this is the result of upbringing, but I did not force it on him. More important is the self-awareness. My sense tells me that on November 22nd, I should be in Vilnius at the burial of the remains of Kęstutis Kalinowski. And I'll go there because I'm Belarusian. Kalinowski for Belarusians, thanks to writer Vladimir Kartkevich, is the hero who's the cornerstone of our national pantheon, which we must build, a national hero. We have many writers and poets, but there are few heroes. Kalinowski, that is the figure which should become the cornerstone of the Belarusian national pantheon.
Вот это важно.
Identity.
Today we talked with Alexei Strelchenko about the Belarusian tourism industry. You can listen to the program at any time on the YouTube channel Cultural Panorama of Radio Belarus in the Identity playlist. Arseny Anderson and Yanina Vaitsenkova were with you. Same time next week.
Identity.